Avon calling. Take time out.
One of the most recognizable sounds in the MLM world, Avon has been entering people's homes for over a century, making Avon one of the oldest MLMs around today. Avon, or as it was originally called, the California Perfume Company, was an accidental creation and ironically was born from the need for a sales tactic in another door-to-door sales business. David H. McConnell was a door-to-door book salesperson in New York in the 1880s, and he noticed that he was starting to have problems with finding an icebreaker to get him in the door to talk to his primarily bored housewife audience. So he improvised, as you do. Hold up though, quick second of your time. Hi, I'm Ashley Marcella. Welcome to my first video and to my channel. I don't know how to do any of this yet, so again, hi. Maybe I'll do an intro vid at one point, but for now, hi, how are you? How's life? What's going on? Nice to meet you. I'm glad that you're tuning in for my first video, and let's continue. McConnell worked with a local pharmacy to develop his own brand of rose-scented toilet water, better known as perfume. McConnell used this newly developed product to get his ass through doors and into the good graces of the female inhabitants to sell his books. Soon he noticed that his perfume was quickly becoming more popular than the books he was selling, and his American dream was realized. Beauty guru. So he got to work creating his company. He originally called it the California Perfume Company with the help of his friend who lived in California. I know, shocking. And thought that the name gave the impression of an abundance of flowers. The perfume quickly became a huge hit, so McConnell pieced out of the book dealing business and decided that the beauty guru life was for him. McConnell continued to use the door-to-door method to sell his new product. Soon he realized that more help was needed if he wanted to reach a wider audience. Enter badass bitch Mrs. Persis Foster Ames Albee. I know that's a lot to say, but she's amazing, so the name is worth it. So let's take a break from all this beauty guru talk and take a little dive into who this amazing woman was. Persis Foster Ames was born on May 30th, 1836, and although I can't find very much information about her childhood years, there is much to be known about her adult life. At the age of 30, Persis married attorney Ellery Albee, and the couple would go on to have 2 children. Persis spent her years running a general store out of their home and raising her children. Their home was conveniently located next to a river and a railway station, so it made the sales business for her a little bit easier. Oh, and just to drive home the fact that their home/store was the shit, they had the only public telephone available in the entire town. So for the time, they were it. They were the celebrities of the town. They were the Kardashians of their time. Kinda. Enter Mr. McConnell. McConnell made Albee's store a regular stop on his sales route, and because of this got to know Persis well. McConnell had reached a point in his book sales business that he needed some help, so he recruited Albee, who over his time in knowing her, he realized that she was really, really good at sales. Albee became a part-time sales representative for McConnell and would go door-to-door selling books when the store was closed. Eventually things became even busier, and Albee allowed McConnell to use the family store as a depot of sorts. Fast forward to the perfume era. Within the first year of business, McConnell had recruited 12 saleswomen to go door-to-door selling his product. The first of these women was our beloved Persis. Albee quickly became the top seller for the company and was made the first depot manager within months. McConnell had fallen onto something that he felt that he could use to his advantage with his new company: camaraderie between women. He saw this bond as a way to open doors and increase sales. Albee continued to grow the business for him quickly. Within the first year, Albee had signed over 100 women to work as sales representatives, far outweighing McConnell's 12 that he had recruited in the first year. And after 12 years with the California Perfume Company, Albee had trained around 5,000 women to be door-to-door sales reps. The work of Albee was absolutely instrumental in the creation and longevity that Avon has had. She would travel through her selling district by horse and buggy, and when she needed to train women in other states, she would not hesitate to make the long journey. Through her work, she enabled women to earn money in a time where there was little to no work outside of being a mother and homemaker. We'll come back to Albee and her influence on women in business in a little bit. But right now, we're going to move a little quicker through the rest of the early history of the company to bring us up to modern day. The business continued to grow and grow fast. In 1894, Alexander D. Henderson joined the California Perfume Company as a vice president and treasurer, and also assisted in policy development. In 1897, the California Perfume Company started construction on their first laboratory in Suffern, New York. The turn of the century brought things like Outlook magazine, which was an internal magazine that shared advice and business news with all sales representatives. An advertisement in the long-standing Good Housekeeping magazine, and was even awarded the Good Housekeeping Seal of Approval on 11 different products. Quite the accomplishment for any product geared toward housewives in the early 1900s. The Great Depression hit in the 1930s, and to everyone's surprise, instead of losing money like most businesses of the time, the California company managed to increase their sales by over 70%. This increase in sales is credited to introducing sales prices to their customer catalogs, something that as a company was never done before. After McConnell's death in 1937, his son took over the company and changed the name to Avon in 1939 to honor his father's and his favorite playwright, William Shakespeare. And I'm sorry, but look at this. This has to be proof that Liev Schreiber is a vampire or a time traveler or something, because damn, they look identical. It's scary. Okay, moving on. Let's start to slow back down just a tiny bit. In 1954, Avon started their brand new advertising campaign. This campaign would become iconic and is still known to this day. Ding dong, Avon calling. This campaign ran for an astonishing 12 years, making it one of the longest running and most successful ad campaigns in history. Shortly after this, in 1955, the Avon Foundation was formed with the mission to help women everywhere. Brazilian company Natura & Co. bought a 76% stake in Avon, with that deal closing in January of this year, 2020. And as of today, Avon is still one of the most visible and well-known MLMs out there. With over 6 million active sales reps in over 100 countries, Avon is the 14th largest beauty company in the world, and that is definitely not a small feat. And they should be congratulated on being that well known and that big of a company after over 100 years. Okay, history's out of the way. We may go back to a couple points, but let's move on for now. Is Avon an MLM? The answer to this question is quick and easy. Yes. There are those who try to argue this, saying things like, "My mother's friend sold Avon for 30 years and has never tried to recruit me, so it can't be an MLM." But honey, that's not how this works. By definition, multi-level marketing is a controversial marketing strategy for the sale of products or services where the revenue of the MLM company is derived from a non-salaried workforce, selling the company's products and services, while the earnings of the participants are derived from a pyramid-shaped or binary compensation commission system. There are commonly two revenue streams within an MLM: commission based on one's own sales, and commission of sales based on a downline sales. Avon checks both of these requirements. Avon is 100% an MLM, regardless of what they try to make you believe. In 2014, in a moment of semi-self-awareness, Avon left the Direct Selling Association to try to distance themselves from the negative attention that MLMs were starting to receive. But, I don't want to break it to Avon, but just leaving the association of MLMs does not mean that you are no longer an MLM. It's just not how that works. Now, that doesn't mean that there haven't been good things to come out of this company. Just because they have a bad business setup doesn't mean that everything they have done is bad. Alright, so we have a general idea of where Avon started and how it grew to become the empire that it is today. And honestly, of all the MLMs out there, they are definitely not the worst one. Don't get me wrong, Avon is an MLM, meaning that they are predatory by nature. But they have seen less controversy in over 130 years than some MLMs see in a fraction of that time. In saying that, let's explore their controversies. Back all the way in 2008, investigations were launched into various employees from both North America and Asia for possible violations of the law, including bribery and violation of the Foreign Corrupt Practices Act. This investigation took forever. In 2011, Avon filed a report with the Securities and Exchange Commission, which highlighted the investigation as a corporate risk factor that could cause significant investor loss. Obviously. This investigation cost Avon a ton of money. Like, honestly, a metric fuck ton of money. In 2014, the case was settled, with Avon shilling out over $135 million in charges. $68 million of this was just in criminal penalties. It has been suspected by many that the total associated with this investigation was actually closer to $250 million, but I could not find anything to back this up, just rumors. As a company that has championed behind women for over a century, you wouldn't expect them to end up in hot water because of something like body shaming. But yet, here we are. In 2019, Avon launched an ad campaign for their Naked Proof collection. The campaign stated that every body is beautiful, but then went on to say that the new product reduces cellulite, firms skin, and softens stretch marks. But if every body is beautiful, then why is there a need for a product that gets rid of cellulite? The real icing on the cake was the slogan, "Dimples are cute on your face, not on your thighs." Excusez-moi, but what the fuck does that mean? How can you say that you are campaigning behind women and want all women to love their bodies, then turn around and tell them that you have a product that will get rid of cellulite and stretch marks? Because that will make them cuter. That's not how any of this shit works. Needless to say, people were not having it. The first person to notably make noise about this campaign was actress Jamila Jamil. Jamil has been a very outspoken advocate for body positivity, and went on to tweet, "Every body is beautiful, unless they have any flaws, I guess. What a gross abuse of the body positive movement. I want you all to look out for this constant manipulation. Once you see it, you cannot unsee it. It's everywhere. You are constantly being manipulated to self-hate. And yet everyone has dimples on their thighs. I do, you do, and the clowns at Avon UK certainly do. Stop shaming women about age, gravity, and cellulite. They're inevitable, completely normal things. To make us fear them and try to fix them is to literally set us up for failure." Can I just say, yes, preach, queen, oh my god, here's your crown. Wow. Alright, back on track. Avon quickly backpedaled on this campaign and withdrew it from circulation, saying, "We hear you, and we apologize. We messed up on our smooth moves, naked proof message. We want to let you know that we are working diligently to remove this messaging from our marketing materials moving forward. We're on it." This was well received for the most part. Jamila praised the company for listening to those that voiced their concerns, and that they took steps to stop body shaming. But to bring up something that Jamila also brought up later on, the product is called Naked Proof. I'm sorry, but in what world do I need to be naked proof? I do believe that the name of the campaign should have been considered as well, not just the advertising campaign itself. It almost seems like a cognitive dissonance that we would have to talk about Avon discriminating against women when they've always tried to seem like such a strong, willing advocate for women. But yet again, here we are, and unfortunately, it's not even just a single case. 2 former employees of the Avon corporate offices were discriminated against after they had informed the company of their pregnancies. Carolyn Ruiz claimed that she was fired 1 month after being hired because she disclosed a high-risk pregnancy that would require her to work from home on a short-term basis. And when I say short-term, I'm talking a matter of days. Carolyn claimed that her supervisor stated, "Your health isn't my concern, but your performance is," before telling her she was fired. The second complainant in the case, and I am going to butcher this name. I am sorry, I cannot pronounce names for the life of me. I will put the name on the screen so that hopefully you can figure out how to pronounce it, because I cannot. So, the second complainant in the case, Oliveria Krastanoska, a chemist that worked in Avon's laboratory, claimed that she was discriminated against both when alerting the company of her pregnancy and when returning to work and needing to pump breast milk. She claimed that the working environment became hostile and that she was completely belittled, harassed, and demeaned because she refused to work with chemicals that are known to have negative effects on pregnancy. The case went through a lot in courts. Avon wanted arbitration. It was refused. Most of the issues laid out in the cases had been dropped at one point by a judge. And then in January of 2020, the case was dropped after all parties settled out of court. I honestly couldn't find much about this case. I did find that the case was settled out of court for $6.25 million. So there's that. But other than that, not too much that I could find. Something that every MLM seller will tell you is that they are their own boss. They are the CEO of their company. Which, okay, great. If that's how you want to look at selling products for Avon, then all the power to you, honey. But what happens when Avon decides to pull out of your country? What happens if your parent company just disappears? Will you still have a business to be CEO of? Unfortunately, sales reps in Australia, New Zealand, and France found out the hard way that you no longer have a business when your parent group is shut down. Without the head office, without their products, without their influence, tens of thousands of people lost their side hustle, side gig, and or livelihoods. Now please do not misconstrue what I'm saying. I truly do feel bad for all the sales representatives that were left out to the wolves with no real explanation as to what happened. No one deserves to lose their livelihood and to be left with no answers. That's cruel, and it's definitely unneeded. Sales reps in all 3 countries accused Avon of leading them all to believe that everything was okay business-wise, and that there was nothing to worry about. On the Facebook post where Avon announced the closure of the Australian and New Zealand markets, there was a comment from a sales rep stating that she had just signed up 2 weeks prior and was given absolutely no indication that any big changes were coming for the company. Whether you like MLMs or not, you have to admit that that is a dirty move. And not to only do it once, but twice in 3 different countries is completely unforgivable. The situation reminds me of the saying, ask for forgiveness, not permission. There's absolutely no conceivable reason why Avon could not have at least given their reps a heads up that they would be closing or scaling back operations in their regions. And instead of officially telling everybody through a Facebook post, which I'm sorry, but what? Who the fuck is running your HR department? You figured it was okay to tell all of your representatives in those countries that they no longer had a job through a Facebook post? God damn. Alright, sorry. But they could have at least sent their members an email or a letter or like a fucking self-destructing carrier pigeon for all I care. Like something that would have been a little more personal, that would have shown a little bit of respect for the people that had worked their asses off to grow Avon. It wasn't the other way around. It was not Avon working their ass off to grow these reps. No. These reps had worked, in a lot of cases, for years to grow Avon in these countries, and then all of a sudden, it was gone. That's disgusting. No matter the size of your company, you owe it to your workers, or in this case, independent contractors, to respect the fact that this is their lives. This was tens of thousands of people that were just out of work one day. To shut down with no indication to your workers that anything was coming is cruel. They didn't deserve that. Even though, yes, they're working for an MLM and rah rah rah, they don't deserve to lose their livelihood without notice. And in a nutshell, that's Avon's controversies. Like I said, in comparison with some other MLMs, this really seems like middle school drama. As a company, Avon has their faults, but they have also accomplished a lot for women in the makeup industry. In 1989, Avon vowed as a company in the United States that they would cease animal testing. They have since then rallied to find more ethical methods of testing cosmetics, including in vitro, computer simulations, and voluntary human testing. In 2019, Avon became the first cosmetics company to end all regulatory required animal testing, which was a big thing because they also sell in the Chinese market, which is very strict on animal testing. Avon has also donated more than $815 million to breast cancer programs around the world and has been a very strong voice in the fight against domestic violence. Both of these causes are certainly ones that I can get behind, and like I said, bad people can do good things, and the same goes for companies. Avon is still going strong today with 6.5 million representatives shilling cheap jewelry and eau de toilette that smells the way you imagined an 80-year-old woman's apartment smelling in the late 1960s. Yeah, most of it smells really, really bad, in my opinion. Avon has made attempts over the last few years to modernize and bring in celebrity endorsements like Reese Witherspoon, Fergie, Lucy Hale, and Zoe Saldana. But this hasn't seemed to increase their sales or bring in very much of that younger demographic that they were hoping for. It's not like they're not making any money. They are still a multi-billion-dollar per year company, so they're not going anywhere anytime soon. In conclusion, like I said, yes, Avon is an MLM. Yes, Avon uses predatory business practices to grow. And finally, yes, it seems that the only way to make real money with Avon is to recruit people below you. You are sold the lifestyle of Avon to get you to join the company. The sisterhood, the ability to grow your own business while staying with your family. Be your own boss. Run a profitable business. And be part of a company that, whether it is deserved or not, is iconic. The most positive thing that I can say about the company, besides their contributions to cancer research and domestic violence, is that PFE Albee is a badass bitch and deserves all the accolades in the world. She was an actual entrepreneur in a time when women had no choices but to stay home and be a housekeeper and mother. She allowed women to start earning wages on their own and created a network of like-minded women. For the era, that was amazing. Avon now gives out awards in Albee's name to their best salespeople, and Mattel released Barbie's in Albee's likeness to commemorate her contribution to women in business. It truly is hard to deny that without Albee, her work, and her spirit, that Avon would not be what it is today. And that's Avon. Like I said, in my opinion, it's not the worst, most predatory MLM out there, but it is still an MLM. Whether they want to try to hide that by leaving the Direct Sellers Association, we see you. And although you and every grandmother in the world may love their bubble bath, it is sold to you with a side of many people's hopes and dreams that are lost to another alleged pyramid scheme. Thank you so much for watching my first video. You know, take it easy on me. I am learning all this stuff as I go. You know, hopefully I'll be bringing more videos every couple days, couple times a week. I don't know. I'm just playing around as I go. All right. Thank you. Leave a comment. Tell me you love me. I don't know. Thank you. See you next time.